Communities include the nearby Sandia and Isleta Pueblos. For generations before the founding of Albuquerque and continuing today, indigenous peoples have lived, governed, and cared for this land. Their presence and sovereignty did not end with colonization. New Mexico remains home to 23 sovereign tribal nations, including 19 Pueblos, the Navajo Nation, and 3 Apache nations. Many indigenous people from across the continent also live in Albuquerque today. As guests on this land, we recognize this history and the ongoing relationship between indigenous communities and this place. We offer this acknowledgement in respect for the people who have stewarded this land for generations and who continue to do so today. Land acknowledgements are a starting point. We encourage visitors to learn about the indigenous nations of New Mexico and support indigenous communities when traveling here.
Scary Reed, Zombie Bait, Doom, Effin, You Know, I Know, You Know, and Roland Deshane.
And our NSOs for this game: Boba Threat, Ultraviolent Blue, Kiss Off, Whamdolph, Fizzy, Snarkamedes, Triage, Buckin' Nobby, By the Book, and Chance.
Number 007, Fox Fatale. Number 102, Killer Queen. Number 11, Hermione Danger. Number 206, Abracadabra. Number 222, Blonde All Over. Number 242, Talent and Spice. Number 2517, Mia Wallops. Number 26, Trixie. Number 34, Frog. Number 404, Jinja. Number 42, Goldie Braun. Number 426, Polly Socket. Number 44, Freddy Cruiser. Number 530, Smack Sabbath. Number 666, Deviled Meg. Number 737, Stevie Slicks. Number 77, Ramona Sowers. Number 86, Moose Cannon. Number 967, Pippi Long Blocking. And that's the lineup for Boise River Rollers.
And skating in black today are Elevated Dawn Patrol, number 1101, Misfortune, 1312, Southern Hell, 14, Jesse Jams, 248, oh, just gonna scooch past you there, 350, Cupcake Kamikaze, 404, Mommy Mia, 42, Meow Pow, 47, Author of Pain, 57, Bam Witch, 7, Paris Kilton, 75, AC Slayer, 77, Nekonomicon, 789, Hittin' Kitten, 812, Evelyn Dead, 88, Rocktopus, 909, Tsunami, and 99, Twiggy Smalls. Don't forget to stop by the silent auction table in between our games or at the halftime. We've got art, local goodies, experiences, collectibles, and even a few surprises. You can bid in person at the table or find the auction link in your program. All proceeds support next year's Rumble on the Rio.
This game's jam line is brought to you by Lowrider Line, proudly powered by Shelby 2 Dachshunds, proving that big sport comes in small packages. We're grateful for their support of Rumble on the Rio.
We want to give a shout out to Rio Grande Credit Union for sponsoring our officials. Are you looking for a financial partner you can trust? Rio Grande Credit Union offers checking, savings, auto loans, mortgages, and credit cards, all with local service you can count on. Visit us in Albuquerque or Rio Rancho or learn more at rgcu.org.
Well, good morning, Kels. I think we are about ready to start for the first official game here. Pretty excited.
I am also super excited for this matchup. I guess we should introduce ourselves. I am Kel's Inferno.
And I am Secret Squirrel. Really excited to have everybody here via Twitch or in person. We have a really nice crowd here sitting with us today as well as we get ready to start off this 2-day tournament here in Albuquerque. Teams from all over ready to get down some really awesome roller derby.
Looks like our teams are lining up for our first jam. We do have Ms. Fortune jamming first for Elevated.
And Boise has Smack Sabbath coming in to jam. We've got everybody trying to get lined up and ready to go.
Looks like we are just about ready to start the action. Game 1, day 1. I am so excited to get this day started.
It's honestly wild to think about everything that it takes to go in, to a tournament this size too. There's been a lot of behind the scenes things going on all morning to get us ready and get us to this moment. I'm kind of curious though how many people that are currently with us and how many people that are in online viewing in might be first time viewers of roller derby. That's kind of always an interesting thing to me.
Do we have any first timers out in our crowd today? Haven't ever seen roller derby? Oh, I see one hand. Yep. A couple hands. All right. Welcome. We hope you enjoy yourselves today.
Well, I know for a first time, tournament is a heck of a way to get introduced into roller derby because we're going to have a lot of movement, a lot of fast movement, and a lot of hard hits today out on the track.
Sometimes you only get to see 1 or 2 games, but we will have 5 games today and 5 games tomorrow. So that is quite a start to a first-timer's experience. All the derby.
All the derby, all the days.
I'd like to thank our medic sponsor, Cello Grill. Say hello to Cello, Albuquerque's spot for fresh, flame-grilled Mediterranean flavor, from kebabs and open-faced gyros to vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free options. There's something for everyone to love.
I'm starting to see some thumbs up. I think we are getting ready to kick this off. All right, that whistle starts the first jam, and it looks like Smack Sabbath is out, taking that lead jammer position for Boise.
Miss Fortune working very hard against that tripod at the front of the pack, trying to push those blockers out of play, and does. Miss Fortune out on the initial.
Smack Sabbath out and calling off the jam right before getting to that pack. I do believe, though, Boise grabbed 4 points in that first jam.
No points scored for Elevated in that first jam.
We got Moose Cannon in for Boise jamming for Jam 2.
And that is Cupcake Kamikaze on our lowrider jam line for Elevated.
Moose Cannon going ahead and giving a little bit of jammer love there, trying to go up the middle.
Cupcake Kamikaze with a nice spin on the inside line. Out, but not lead.
Moose did take the lead on that one and calls off the jam before either jammer makes it up. No points awarded to either team in Jam 2.
Want to give a shout out to the Boise bench staff over there. I know I appreciate some fun outfits, and I really am enjoying those matching checkerboard overalls they've got going on over there.
I think my favorite part about Derby is what people wear and their names, because that always makes it fun.
We got a real fancy, sparkly cowboy hat over here on the official. Ultraviolet blue jam timer with fancy shoes, always with the fancy shoes. I'm thinking that they drove down from Denver, and I just imagine a car full of shoes.
Shoes and skates and pads everywhere.
Want to give a shout out to Santa Fe Brewing. We had our welcome event there last night where skaters and officials and volunteers were able to check in and not have to deal with that early this morning. We also did a fundraiser there a few weeks ago. They've helped give our traveling teams and officials an easy, tasty New Mexico welcome. And it's right next to the host hotel. You can walk right over there. We want to give a huge thanks to Good Wipes for keeping our tournament weekend a little less swampy. Derby in the heat is no joke, and we appreciate the backup. And in this venue, we throw them out in the garbage. Reminder, do not flush the Good Wipes. Wipes that even say they're flushable really are not.
You don't want to make that mistake. That gets really embarrassing really quickly. So I know we have a lot of different teams here today. Who drove the farthest?
I feel like that's probably Boise that traveled the farthest.
Oof. A lot of time in the car. I hope they got some really good stretches and warm-ups in getting ready for this bout. All right, had to work through one or two little technical difficulties. It looks like we're getting ready, though, to come back to what should be our third jam.
Just needed a few minutes to resolve a paperwork issue. Luckily, the person that submitted the charter is sitting right here and can help out with that. Thank you very much. I'm Kels Inferno.
A job well done. I am so proud of you.
I wear many hats around here.
That happens a lot in Derby. I think everybody wears multiple hats to get the job done.
Yeah, this is what we call a sanctioned game in roller derby, which means that this game is for ranking. So we've got to cross our T's and dot our I's and make sure everything is correct on the paperwork for sanctioning purposes.
See, that's the way I'm not allowed to touch the paperwork. I can't. My education didn't allow for that kind of stuff. I got partial reading down. I got partial reading.
All right, it looks like we're just about ready to get back to the action. We've got Southern Hell up for Elevated on our jam line.
Fox Fatale in for Boise. Fox Fatale trying to push up through the middle.
It is Southern Hell picking up lead jammer. First lead jammer status for Elevated today. Both jammers in scoring position now.
Fox Fatale pushing up through that pack after that initial. Fox out of the pack, grabbing 4 points for Boise.
4 points on each team so far in this jam.
Oh, Fox trying to do a apex jump. Ends up not quite making it, having to recycle back through the pack.
Southern Hell working very hard against this tripod at the front of the pack. Now being recycled to the back and knocked down on the ground. It looks like we've got a direction of gameplay penalty on number 3-4 on Boise for that hit on Southern Hell.
Fox Fatale continuing through the pack, grabbing 4 more points for Boise. Currently grabbed 12 so far just in Jam 3.
Southern Hell taking direction from the bench to call off the jam after picking up 3 more points.
Looks like that brings Boise up to 16 points, Elevated to 7.
Up next on our lowrider jam line, that is Paris Kilton for Elevated.
Talons and Spice in for Boise.
Paris Kilton tries to take the inside line on toe stops, doesn't quite make it. We got a big pileup in turn 1. Paris Kilton is out with lead jammer status for Elevated.
Talons trying to get past that pivot for Elevated, finally out on initial.
Paris Kilton, stopped by that tripod at the front, is able to push past, picking up 4 points.
Talons back up to the pack, having to push through to get some points for Boise. Unfortunately knocked out of bounds, having to recycle back through that pack.
Paris Kilton back around, stuck in the back against that Boise 4 wall. Now a 3 wall with the pivot doing some offense for their jammer. Paris Kilton takes the outside through for 4 more points. 8 points so far in this jam for Paris and Elevated.
We got Talents and Spice out of the pack finally, but with a lot of help there from Jinja, the pivot, who was helping try to break up that Elevated pack. Talents coming back up to the pack now, having to fight through again.
Paris Kilton taking direction from the bench, calling it off. Each jammer picking up 2 more points.
We've got Boise now at 22, Elevated at 17.
That was a 10-point jam for Paris and Elevated. Jamming next for Elevated, that is Misfortune, back on our lowrider jam line.
Oh, and we got Smack Sabbath in for Boise. This is helping. I don't know if it'll help you too, maybe. Smack Sabbath out, taking that lead jammer position as the pack now moves up into turn 2.
Misfortune out on the initial pass.
Smack through the pack, taking 4 points and calls off the jam. I'm not sure if the Elevated jammer got in there in time. Oh,
looks like no points picked up for Elevated in that jam.
Boise did grab 4 in that one, so that brings them up to 26. Elevated still at 17. Now getting ready to head into the 6th jam of this bout.
Cupcake Kamikaze on the line for Elevated.
Moose Cannon in for Boise.
Cupcake with a nice run up the inside line, picking up lead jammer status.
Moose Cannon right behind Cupcake, though.
Both jammers eligible to score. Cupcake getting stopped by that Boise tripod in the back, picking up a 1 point and calling off the jam.
Looks like Boise did not grab any points on that one, leaving them at 26, Elevated now up to 18.
Southern Hell on the lowrider jam line for Elevated.
We have Fox Fatale in for Boise. Fox finding a hole on that inside almost immediately for that lead.
Southern Hell working very hard against that 2 at the front and does push past out on the initial pass.
Fox now trying to move up and through, grabbing 4 points and calling off the jam. Boise now at 30, Elevated at 18, and we have a timeout called.
Looks like that is a team timeout for Elevated.
So I want to remind everybody, our silent auction has a Balloon Festival fan bundle in the silent auction, including 4 general admission tickets for Balloon Festival 2026, plus festival gear and collectibles. Get yourself ready for the field early and support Rumble on the Rio 2027. Make sure you go check out that silent auction. With that whistle, it sounds like we're going to get ready to go into Jam 8. Looks like we have Talons and Spice coming in for Boise.
And Paris Kilton on our lowrider jam line for Elevated. Paris had a very good first jam, 10 points, I believe, the highest scoring jam so far in this game.
For Elevated, yes, Boise did get that one that was 12, though, so... Looks like both jammers are getting kind of stuck up behind the blockers there. Talons and Spice now out on lead.
Paris Kilton out behind. Oh, nope. Not out on the initial. Paris picking up a track cut.
Oh, we have a power jam then for Boise. Let's see what Boise can do with this power jam. For our one new person in the crowd today, that basically means Boise gets the chance to just keep on scoring right now.
Looks like we also had 2 elevated blockers in the penalty box. Talon and Spice working very hard against this elevated 2-wall, getting a little offense assistance there, and 3 for 4.
Abracadabra coming in with that nice hard hit so Talons and Spice can get out of the pack. Talons and Spice taking a little bit of a hit there, going down.
Paris Kilton back on the track, engaging with those blockers right before Talons and Spice calls off that jam.
Talons and Spice able to grab 5 points on that, bringing Boise up to 35, elevated at 18 right now.
Misfortune jamming next for elevated.
And we have Smack Sabbath in for Boise.
Thought we were going to have a pivot line start for a moment there, but not so fast.
Oh, Smack out of the pack quickly for Boise, taking that lead jammer position.
Misfortune tries to take the outside line, but is knocked out of bounds. Now tiptoeing it around the inside line, out on the initial pass.
Smack Sabbath right behind. I believe did we have a start? Boise grabbing 4 points on that one, bringing them, I believe the scoreboard says 39. I do apologize. I got a little bit of a plumbing issue in my way, but yeah, it looks like they're at Boise 39, elevated at 18, going into jam 10.
Cupcake Kamikaze on our jam line for elevated.
Moose Cannon out of the pack for lead jammer. Boise taking that lead again.
Cupcake still working on that initial pass, working very hard against a Boise 2-wall. Able to sneak by on the outside, picking up that initial pass.
Moose Cannon through the pack after grabbing 4 points, right behind the pack now, coming up and trying to push on through.
Looks like 2 points picked up by Boise before calling off that jam, and Cupcake sneaking 3 points in there.
Boise brought up 2:45 after that jam, elevated 21.
Southern Hell jamming next for elevated.
Fox Fatel in for Boise.
Southern Hell getting a little bit of assistance from blocker Tsunami. Nami now on the defense, taking Fox Fatal all the way to the back. Southern Hell picking up lead jammer status for elevated.
Fox Fatel honestly giving it quite a bit of a fight back there, stuck behind those elevated blockers that keep just knocking Fox out of bounds, forcing recycles and keeping Fox squarely behind that pack.
Southern Hell sneaking through on that inside, picking up 4 points.
Fox Fatel still trying to fight through. Hasn't made it out of the pack yet. And oh, a cut track. You know what that means.
Southern Hell and elevated on the power jam, their first power jam of the game.
Fox Fatel having to sit that time out now while the Boise blockers are left to keep up that game.
Southern Hell getting some offensive assistance there from the blockers and through for 4 points.
Boise blockers getting ready. Blonde all over being the center point of those blockers, trying to keep them back. We're getting a lot of penalties
Southern Hell
called.
with 1 to beat and does 4 more points. Looks like we got a Boise blocker going to the box. That means they've only got 2 on the track right now in this power jam. Not what you want in a power jam for sure.
Oh no. Looks like it's just Mia Wallops out there along with Blonde all over.
Hell getting some nice offensive assistance from the elevated blockers, picking up 4 more points, taking direction from the bench and calling off that jam.
Well, after that one, we're now up to Boise 45, elevated, hitting 37.
That was a 16-point jam for Southern Hell and Elevated. That is our highest jam of the game so far and of the day.
I mean, that brings them basically under 10 points of each other. They're just sitting 8 points separated. That's just one jam right there where you can flip who has the lead pretty quickly.
Absolutely. This is anybody's game.
Now it looks like we do have a timeout called, and it's an official review called.
Looks like this is Boise's official review for the first half. We will see what the review is about and the outcome shortly. For our folks in the crowd new to Derby, each team does get one official review per half. However, if you win your review in the half, you get it back and can do another one. It's always very exciting and satisfying to win a review. Let's give a shout out to one of our sponsors, E6 Physical Therapy. E6 Physical Therapy is making sure your skate is straight and your gait is great. Visit E6 Physical Therapy for an assessment today. I have a note that like half a dozen of our elevated skaters utilize E6 services.
That is a lot, but you need that, especially when you're taking some of these hard hits out here.
Yeah, we do wear full sets of gear, helmet, mouth guard, elbow, wrist, and knee pads, but it still hurts to fall on the concrete.
You got to trust that gear too. Make sure you're falling correctly. These skaters put in a lot of time and practice to ensure that they play not only well but safely every time.
We do want to thank all of our medics that are here today supporting our tournament. We cannot play the game without medics. We appreciate them taking care of all the bumps and bruises that happen this weekend.
So Boise was looking to...
Sounds like Boise was looking to have a penalty removed. It sounds like a skater got an additional penalty for
illegal entry?
Illegal exiting of the track. So that means 2 penalties instead of 1. They were asking for a retraction of that penalty. They did not get it and will not retain their review. That skater will still have those 2 penalties.
Coming back from that official review, we have Talons and Spice coming in for Boise.
And that is Paris Kilton jamming for Elevated. Paris with 1 to beat and does with a nice spin move, picking up lead jammer for Elevated.
Talons and Spice out on initial as well. The pack now moving up into turn 2. Talon's getting knocked out of bounds, forced to recycle.
No pack call does free Paris Kilton, picking up 4 points. Looks like we do have a destruction of pack penalty on Meow Pow of Elevated.
Talons and Spice making it through as well, grabbing 4 points. But I think we have another penalty coming.
Looks like we've got a penalty on Paris Kilton and an illegal exit penalty. So this is another double penalty today.
And that makes this a power jam for Boise. Talons and Spice looking to capitalize on this power jam, but getting knocked. Talons and Spice grabbing 4 on that one.
And we do have an illegal re-entry penalty on Meow Pow. I believe Meow came out of the penalty box and re-entered the pack from the front.
Looks like Boise now sitting at 61 after that power jam, Elevated 41. But it looks like we'll start this one with a few people in that penalty box.
Paris Kilton still in the penalty box, giving Boise a power start.
And
Paris Kilton out of the box, making heavy contact with those blockers in the back of the pack.
Smack Sabbath with that lead going through the pack already, grabbing 4 points. Oh, Smack Sabbath hitting that pack hard, going ahead and calling off that jam. We're now
Misfortune
Boise
taking the jam line for Elevated. Let's take a moment to talk about illegal exits of the track, since we've seen a couple of those now. When you are called on a penalty, you need to immediately exit the track at a 90-degree angle, and it appears that people are not doing that.
Official timeout right now going on just to ensure that we have all the proper numbers up here on the board. All right, coming back now, we got Moose Cannon in for Boise. Moose Cannon quickly out of the pack, giving a little celebratory signal out there to the fans.
Misfortune out on the initial pass for Elevated. Not going to make it back around, though, before Boise calls off that jam.
Moose able to grab 4 points on that jam. We're Boise 71, Elevated 42.
Cupcake Kamikaze on the jam line for Elevated.
Smack Sabbath in for Boise. Both jammers trying to make it up through the middle. Smack out of the pack just slightly before.
Cupcake out on the initial. Both jammers very close together and looking to score points here. Looks like all 4 points snuck in by Cupcake. 0 for Boise.
Smack just unable to get some points on that one, but that brings Elevated up to 46. Boise still 71.
Southern Hell back on our jam line for Elevated.
We got Fox Fattel coming in. Just a little over 11 minutes in this half left. Fox Fattel going up through the inside, taking that lead for Boise.
Southern Hell skates through backwards on the initial pass.
Fox trying to find a hole in the pack as the pack's up to turn 2. Fox able to make a little jump up there and then calls off the jam after grabbing 4 points for Boise.
Southern Hell sneaking in 3 right before the call-off.
Boise now 75, Elevated 49.
Paris Kilton back on our lowrider jam line for Elevated.
And we have Talons and Spice in for Boise. Oh, a lot of hard hits immediately.
Paris Kilton picking up lead jammer for Elevated.
Talons and Spice trying to get through. Having a very hard time, though, getting some really good hits in at the top of that apex.
Paris Kilton through for 4 points. Boise trying to get past that last line of defense. AC Slayer picking up an out-of-play penalty, freeing Talons and Spice.
Talon and Spice finally out on that initial, but unable to capitalize and get back to the pack in time.
Paris Kilton picking up 2 points on that pass before calling off the jam.
Boise 75, Elevated 55.
Misfortune back on the jam line for Elevated.
Moose Cannon out for Boise. Moose Cannon using some fancy juke footwork up there at the pack, getting out on that initial.
Misfortune able to break through out on the initial pass.
Moose Cannon pushing up through the middle and then calling off the jam after grabbing 4 points for Boise. Boise now 79, Elevated 55.
Cupcake Kamikaze back out with the star for Elevated.
Smack Sabbath coming in for Boise.
Are we going to see a pivot line start? Yes, I think we are.
Ooh, I love the speed. Oh, both. Smack Sabbath finds a hole immediately on that inside.
Boise really taking advantage of that pack advantage on the jam start to get a quick lead for their jammer.
Smack Sabbath able to continue pushing through, and I'm seeing some really good hits coming from Jinja blocking.
Cupcake Kamikaze out on the initial pass.
Smack Sabbath coming back up to the pack.
And a nice hit out of bounds by Mommy Mia.
That forced that call off immediately. Looks like 87 points total going to Boise. We're at 86 now. Elevated still 55. But we have a little over 7 minutes left in this half.
Southern Hell on the lowrider jam line for Elevated.
Fox Fatal coming in for Boise, trying to push up through the middle.
Southern Hell with some nice footwork on the outside line, picking up lead jammer status.
Fox Fatal unable to push up through the middle, found a hole on the outside for an initial pass.
Southern Hell able to use those toe stops and hold in bounds, picking up 4 points.
Fox Fatal grabbing 4 as well before the call off. We're now Boise 89, Elevated 59.
Paris Kilton back out with the star for Elevated.
Townsend Spice coming in for Boise.
We've got another large pack advantage at the jam start for Boise with 4 blockers on the track. Elevated with 2 in the box.
Who was that just gave that really good hard hit to Townsend
That was
Spice?
Tsunami with that really big hit on the jammer.
Slammed into him like a wave.
Taking that jammer out of bounds and recycling all the way to the back.
Yeah.
Nami back at the front of the pack.
Townsend Spice tried so hard to get out. That was a hard fight to get out of that pack. Townsend Spice taking lead for Boise.
And we do have, I believe, our first star pass of the game. That is Tsunami pivot turned jammer for Elevated.
That was a hard-hitting jam. We're now Boise 93, Elevated 59. Just under 5 minutes left.
Misfortune back on the lowrider jam line for Elevated.
Smack Sabbath in for Boise. Smack able to find a way on the outside lane to take that lead position.
And we've got our second jam with a star pass in a row for Elevated. That is Mommy Mia, our pivot turn jammer. Not going to make it back around before the jam is called.
Smack Sabbath calling it off after grabbing 2 points once hitting that pack. Boise now 95, Elevated 59. Moose Cannon out early, taking that lead for Boise.
Cupcake Kamikaze sneaking by on the inside line, out on the initial pass.
Moose Cannon trying to find a hole on the inside, but forced a small recycle there. Looks like Moose Cannon went ahead and just called the jam, not wanting to risk too much more, but did grab 2 points for Boise in that process, now bringing him up to 97. Elevated still 59.
Southern Hell back out there with the star for Elevated.
And we have Fox Fatal in for Boise. Fox dancing around those blockers, going straight up the inside line, taking that lead jammer for Boise.
And we do have another star pass on Elevated. I believe that is Evelyn Dead, now our pivot turned jammer, able to stay in bounds over there, out on the initial pass. I've got a very exciting announcement. We've got a food truck that has arrived. Pop Pop's Italian Ice is going to be outside down the left side hallway to the back. So if you need a nice treat to cool off on this hot day, Pop Pop's Italian Ice has got you.
Smack Sabbath back in for Boise, coming in for with some hard hits too. Grabbing that lead jammer position for Boise.
Paris Kilton with the star for Elevated. I take that back. We do have another star pass. That is AC Slayer, pivot turned jammer for Elevated.
Oh. Smack Sabbath on through that pack, but I saw a really good hit by Deviled Meg in there. Deviled Meg playing the pivot, but giving some hard hits, trying to keep people back.
AC Slayer not able to pick up any points after that star pass. Ms. Fortune back out on our lowrider jam line for Elevated.
We got Moose Cannon in for Boise. Boise currently at 103, Elevated 59. I got so excited about the food truck announcement earlier, I forgot to look at the score after that jam. Moose Cannon trying to push up through, but being forced to small recycle.
Misfortune able to push those last two blockers out of play, picking up lead jammer status for Elevated.
Moose Cannon picking up some speed out on that initial.
Misfortune picking up 3 points before calling off that jam. Looks like each jammer picking up 3 in that last jam. Cupcake Kamikaze back on the jam line for Elevated.
Talons and Spice in for Boise. Oh, and it looks like we have a very early penalty. Did you see what that one was for?
Cupcake picking up what I believe was a track cut.
Oof. That makes this a power jam for Boise.
Boise also has a bit of a pack advantage as we've got one Elevated blocker in the box as well.
Talons and Spice coming in, taking some hits. Right back up on those skates, though, after hitting some blockers and grabbing 4 points.
Talons and Spice going to call off that jam and ice. Cupcake in the penalty box. Ooh. That looks like that is our half, but Elevated will start the second half with their jammer in the box.
We go into this intermission with Boise 110, Elevated 62. We have a 15-minute intermission. You know what that means?
Go get some Pop Pop's Italian Ice. Check out our vendor village. We've got some awesome vendors out there. All of our teams have merch for sale out there, and we've also got our silent auction table.
I have got to see that silent auction table. I've heard about some amazing things up for auction. We hope to see all of you out there. Get your favorite team swag. I love team swag. And get your tournament swag.
We've got all kinds of swag out there.
All right, we will be back here in just about 13 minutes. We'll see you then. Looks like our countdown. Yeah, there we go.
Down.
Our countdown back to Derby is gone. We're going to be coming back from our halftime. We're currently Boise 110, elevated 62. And I spent a lot of time out there, out at those vendor tables.
I mean, you only had 10 minutes.
I somehow spent $200, but I do not regret a bit of it. I have so many things.
That's a lot of damage in 10 minutes, $200 worth. What did you buy?
Oh my gosh, I got a really cool tumbler. I am one of those people that has like 50 tumblers, so that makes sense. Skate leash, a tank top. I got light up skates and bearings, and they were nice enough. They're actually putting the bearings in the skates for me right now, which is really nice of them. So that was just one vendor. I still got to see all of the other ones, because I like to see the different swag and the stickers, because when you get a new tumbler, you then need the stickers to go on that tumbler.
Absolutely. You got a lot of blank space there for stickers.
Very excited, very excited. I heard a lot of people, too, going out to our food truck. They were looking how to get out there. Not too hard to get out there. Make sure y'all go visit them, though, because especially as it gets hotter today, that's going to be so needed.
Let's give a shout out to Ramps and Alleys out in our vendor village. I believe that's where you spent all of your money earlier.
Not all the money. That'll be spent later.
We do have Boise on the power start.
Smack Sabbath in jamming for them.
Cupcake Kamikaze has returned to the track, engaging with those Boise blockers, trying to get a little bit offensive help there from AC Slayer.
Smack Sabbath back up to the top of the pack, but getting resistance now from those elevated blockers.
Cupcake getting knocked out of bounds on the outside and recycled to the back. Looking for some offensive assistance from AC Slayer.
Smack Sabbath having to recycle back through the pack after being knocked out of bounds in front of our audience, so they got a nice little view of that one.
Cupcake with star in hand sneaks through on the inside on the initial pass. Jam is called off.
Boise able to grab 7 points in the first jam of this half. Boise now 117, elevated 62.
Southern Hell back out on our jam line for elevated.
Moose Cannon in for Boise.
Southern Hell tries to take the inside, knocked out of bounds, but up very quick, picking up lead jammer status for elevated. Now we've got a foot race between the jammers.
Moose Cannon speeding up, coming up behind elevated, trying to make it to the pack. Moose Cannon, I'm not even sure how Moose got through that pack, honestly. That was a lot of effort and smaller stature helping in that one a little bit, I think.
Moose Cannon just bowling through that pack. Southern Hell knocked out of bounds on that inside apex, taking direction from the bench to call off the jam. 3 more points for Hell in that jam. Seven points for Hell and elevated on that jam, bringing elevated score to 69. Boise with 125.
We got Fox Fatale in for Boise.
And that is Paris Kilton with the star for elevated.
Fox trying to find a hole and able to finally push through, taking lead for Boise.
Paris Kilton with a star pass. That is AC Slayer, now our jammer for Elevated. AC not going to make it back around, though, before that jam is called.
Fox Patel able to grab 4 points out of that jam, bringing Boise up to 129, Elevated still 69. About to start jam 3 here with Talents and Spice coming in for Boise.
Misfortune with the star for Elevated. Looks like we might have a pivot line start again, and we do. Giving those jammers some space right away.
Talents and Spice trying to push up through the middle.
Misfortune with 1 to beat and does, picking up lead jammer for Elevated.
Talents out on initial.
Misfortune trying to sneak her hips around blockers, picking up 3 points before calling off that jam.
It was Pippi long blocking, helping out, keeping Elevated back, forcing that call off.
Cupcake Kamikaze back on the low rider jam line.
Smack Sabbath in for Boise. Smack Sabbath delivering some blows, leaving the pack there, taking that lead jammer position.
Cupcake knocked out of bounds on the inside and recycled to the back. Now with a nice run up the outside line, out on the initial pass.
Smack Sabbath being knocked out of bounds and forced to call it off. 4 points given to Boise. Boise now 133, Elevated 72.
Southern Hell on the jam line for Elevated.
Moose Cannon in for Boise. Some hard hits out there.
Southern Hell picking up lead jammer status. However, Moose Cannon has picked up speed and passed by Hell.
The outside left wide open. Moose Cannon able to grab 4 going through.
Southern Hell working hard against its 2-wall at the front of the pack. 2-wall turning into a 3-wall. Elevated given a lot of offense, but kind of missing that Boise jammer coming back around.
Ramona Sowers giving some nice hip checks on that one. That brought Boise up to 141. Elevated now at 76.
23 minutes left in this game. Paris Kilton taking the jam line for Elevated.
Fox Patel jamming for Boise after a little brief dance break there.
Paris Kilton with a nice move on the outside line, picking up lead jammer status.
Fox right behind, offering some speed. The pack now moving past turn 2.
Both jammers eligible to score points. Paris Kilton picks up 2 and calls it off, leaving Fox Fatale scoreless. Fox Fatale looks like thought might have snuck in a couple there.
I mean, Fox was moving too, so definitely.
Very quick jam, quick jam.
We got Talents and Spice now in for Boise.
Misfortune for Elevated.
Townsend Spice getting back up after some hits there in the pack, being kept back behind.
Misfortune with 2 to beat at the top of the pack, and does, picking up lead jammer status. Looks like we've got our elevated pivot Mommy Mia taking a seat in the penalty box.
Townsend Spice out of the pack on initial.
Misfortune picking up 4 points and taking direction from the bench to call off that jam.
Elevated grabbing 4 points, now at 82. Boise 141. Smack Sabbath coming in for Boise.
Cupcake Kamikaze with the star for elevated. Pack up at the pivot line, but rolling back before the whistle, not going to stay at the pivot line.
Smack Sabbath smacking through that pack, taking lead for Boise.
Cupcake Kamikaze out on the initial pass.
Smack back up to the pack, pushing through and calling it off.
No points picked up for elevated in that jam. Elevated still sitting at 82. Boise now with 145 with just over 20 minutes left in this game.
We have Moose Cannon now in for Boise.
And Southern Hell with the star for elevated.
Moose Cannon taking the outside route around the pack.
Southern Hell running up that inside apex, star in hand on that initial pass.
Moose Cannon through the pack really quickly, and hearing those coaches say, hey, call it. You know, now that they're closer, I really do love those overalls. Derby fashion is a thing.
Derby fashion at its finest.
I love it because there is no way to be Derby fashion, but every way is Derby fashion.
Paris Kilton with the star for elevated.
Fox Fatale in for Boise, getting hung up immediately on the jammer.
A lot of jammer on jammer contact at the start there.
I love jammer on jammer contact. It's always good. Fox does make it out, though, on initial.
Paris Kilton fending off 2 hits from Boise blockers on the outside and getting out on the initial pass.
Looks like Boise was able to grab 3 points on that one, bringing them up to 152, elevated 82, with Talons and Spice now coming in for Boise.
Misfortune ready to jam for elevated. Misfortune looking for a way through the pack and finding one right up the middle, getting a little love from the crowd over there, picking up lead jammer status.
Talons and Spice out on initial. Looks like we've got several penalties.
Misfortune taking a tumble and calling that jam from the ground, picking up 2 points.
I think we might have a fairly full penalty box right now.
Okay, it looks like we're going to have 1 blocker in the penalty box to start for elevated, giving Boise a slight pack advantage. Cupcake Kamikaze with the star for elevated.
Smack Sabbath in for Boise.
Cupcake Kamikaze able to get through on the inside line, picking up lead jammer status.
Smack out of the pack on initial. The pack moving up into turn 2.
Cupcake picking up 2 points, calling it off. Boise sneaking in 3, though, before that call-off happened.
That brought Boise up to 155, elevated 86. Smack Sabbath was riding that inside line really well. A lot of control with that. Moose Cannon now in for Boise.
Southern Hell with the star for elevated.
Moose Cannon out on initial, taking lead.
Southern Hell almost out of the pack, but getting knocked by a Boise blocker who's then sitting in the penalty box. I did not see what the call was for.
Looks like some of those hits were by Blonde all over, blocking for Boise. Moose Cannon continuing on.
Southern Hell able to sneak in 1 point before that call-off.
Looks like Boise will be starting a few blockers down.
Yeah, let's see if Elevated can utilize this pack advantage to their benefit. Paris Kilton with the star for Elevated.
Fox Fatale jamming for Boise.
Paris getting a little bit of help there from Twiggy Smalls, and it paid off out with lead jammer status. Fox Fatale very fast, able to come up to Paris and sneak on by, forcing that call off. 0-0 jam.
I mean, not an entire sneak. Gave a little love tap there as well. We got Talents and Spice now coming in for Boise.
Misfortune for Elevated. Misfortune picking up lead jammer status for Elevated. Talons and Spice out on the initial pass. Misfortune taking 2 points and calling off that jam to leave Boise scoreless in that jam. Elevated trying to chip away at this lead. Boise leading 163, Elevated 89 with just under 13 and a half minutes left in this game. Cupcake with the star for Elevated.
Smack Sabbath coming in for Boise. Smack Sabbath out of the pack, taking that lead jammer for Boise.
Cupcake Kamikaze getting recycled all the way to the back of the pack. Star in hand, no pass completed. Cupcake is out on the initial. Not going to make it back around for any points, though, before that jam is called.
Boise now 169, Elevated 89.
Southern Hell back with the star for Elevated.
Moose Cannon in for Boise. And Moose out for lead.
Southern Hell with one to beat at the top of the pack, and does out on the initial pass. Moose Cannon already with 4 points in this jam. Taking direction from the bench and calling it off.
Able to grab 4 points prior to calling that. We're now at 173 Boise, elevated 89, a little over 11 minutes left.
Paris Kilton with the star for elevated.
Fox Fatal in for Boise.
And a quick lead jammer status for Paris. Fox Fatal chasing down Paris. Paris hitting that tripod at the back of the pack. Picking up 1 point before calling it off. Want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Taste Salud, for keeping our skaters, officials, and volunteers hydrated. They donated 600 electrolyte packages.
Oh my gosh, that is a lot, but you need a lot, especially in this heat.
Misfortune with the star for elevated.
Talents and Spice in for Boise.
Misfortune picking up lead jammer.
Talents having a fight there, unable to make it through that pack.
Misfortune getting recycled all the way to the back. Working very hard against that 2-wall in the back.
Looks like Talents and Spice also got recycled.
2-wall now turned into a 3-wall, getting a little assistance from, gonna scooch past you there. And through for 4 points.
The jam called off. Boise 173, unable to get points on that one, but elevated now up to 95.
We also want to give big thanks to Red Bull for stocking us up with product this weekend. Hundreds and hundreds of Red Bulls is what I saw yesterday.
Hundreds and hundreds. Whew. It looks like we have Deviled Meg jamming for the first time this bout for Boise and out of the pack early.
Cupcake Kamikaze with the star for elevated, taking a bit of a tumble there in the apex. Cupcake back up real quick and out on the initial pass.
Deviled Meg pushing up and calling it off, but grabbing 4 points for Boise.
No points in that jam for elevated. Southern Hell back out with the star for elevated, but we are going to have an elevated team timeout. Huge thanks to Balloon Fiesta for adding merch, collectibles, and tickets to our silent auction. Someone is going home ready for Fiesta 2026. A lot of the collectibles are discontinued collectibles, including consecutively numbered public pins, general admission tickets, and cool accessories. I know I love me some Balloon Fiesta.
Oh, it's always such a great time. I'm curious, I'm trying to pull up our Twitch feed here on my phone. I wonder, who all do we have? It looks like we have at least 21 people in the Twitch room early this morning watching. I went ahead and told everybody good morning. Who do we have out there, and who are you rooting for?
Yeah, tell us where you're watching from this morning.
Oh, we got Big Banquet saying good morning in the chat.
Southern Hell picking up lead jammer status very quickly in Jam 22.
Oh, that's Moose Cannon out of the pack.
Hell picking up 4 points and taking direction from that bench staff to call off that jam.
Moose was able to grab 2 before it was called off. Boise 179, Elevated 99. Look at that one. Good morning was all it took. We got Big Banquet in the room. We got Trixie 26, Gremlin Meat, saying let's go TVRD baby. But we got Elevated all the way. Buffalo, New York.
We've got Lost in Your Thighs watching all the way from Buffalo, New York.
Let's go Dawn Patrol. Ooh, okay. I do love being in the chat room just to see who's there, who's watching, and are y'all having a good day?
Lost in Your Thighs, a former Elevated skater, now skating with Queen City Roller Derby, just winning a bronze medal at the North America East playoffs in Ontario.
Wow. All right.
We do miss thighs.
Well, good morning and welcome to everyone there. But also, good morning and welcome to everyone here. We have a full audience here in-house, which is awesome. We love to see all these audience members. And we have, a few first-timers here, which is great to see.
Paris Kilton with the star for Elevated.
Fox Fatale giving a nice hit there to break out and through the pack.
Paris Kilton still working on the initial pass. Nice toe stop work running up that inside line out on the initial pass.
Looks like Boise was able to grab 4 on that jam, bringing them up to 183, Elevated 99. And we just are now under 7 minutes left here.
Misfortune back out on the jam line for Elevated.
And we have Talons and Spice in for Boise.
And a nice move up the inside line. Misfortune picks up lead jammer.
Talons and Spice finding a way through the outside, now on an initial.
Looks like Elevated is losing another blocker to the box. I think this is going to give Boise a 4-2 pack advantage at this start. We've got Pivot Tsunami standing in the box and Evelyn Dead, who just took a seat, leaving AC Slayer and Twiggy Smalls, the only 2 blockers on the track for Elevated.
Smack Sabbath in jamming for Boise.
Cupcake Kamikaze able to pick up lead jammer status. Quite a feat when you only have 2 blockers to start the jam.
Smack Sabbath makes it up, but not in time. No points to Boise during that jam.
Cupcake managing to get all 4 points after getting lead with that big blocker disadvantage at the jam start. Looks like Southern Hell is going to have that same disadvantage as we've got 2 Elevated blockers still in the penalty box.
Moose Cannon in for Boise as we get ready to go into Jam 26 now.
We've got, just going to scooch past you there as one of the 2 blockers on the track for Elevated. Mommy Mia also out there able to help Hell out by getting her to pick up lead jammer status.
Moose Cannon with a lot of speed back up to the pack. Looks like that speed was enough. Was able to grab 3 points before the jam was called off.
2 points for Elevated in that jam. Paris Kilton back out with the star for Elevated. Elevated with one more blocker returning from the box. So we've only got a 1 blocker pack advantage right now for Boise.
Yep. We got Fox Fatale jamming for Boise. Fox taking some hits there. Having to...
Paris Kilton working very hard against that 4-wall at the back of the pack, trying to use those laterals.
Fox Fatale out, taking that lead jammer position. Fox back up to the pack, calls it off. And we have an official review being called. We have an official review, and we only have a little over 3 minutes left in this game. Currently, Boise 191, Elevated 107.
This is Boise's official review for the second half. We do have a reminder for our teams. After the game is over, please select MVPs, jammer, blocker, and overall, and let us know up at the announcer table.
All right, while we have this official review, only 3.5 minutes essentially left in this game. When is our next bout after this? Because I know we have another one. We got 5 games today. We've got some warm-ups.
Our next game is going to be the Treasure Valley All-Stars versus Fort Collins Micro Bruisers.
Ooh, Micro Bruisers. I like that. All right, and that's at noon, our time, which we're here on Mountain Time. There'll be a little bit of a warm-up and everything prior to that.
Refavisen, can you come back to the announcer table, please? Thank you.
One box that I was like, oh, I brought everything else in. I was like, yeah, it's still in the car.
Let's give a huge shout out to Jen and Jupe Productions for their support of Rumble on the Rio this year. Jen and Jupe support local pet rescues and also roller derby. They also donated a pet stroller to our first silent auction that 3 skaters got into a bidding war over.
And I believe they also have donated customized pet stationery where you can get your own pet printed on stationery and stickers.
I'm not going to lie. I have adorable dogs, and they would make great stickers.
I don't even know which of my animals I would pick to put on customized stationery.
You're not allowed to have a favorite. That's the problem.
Yeah, my husband always tells me I'm not allowed to have a favorite.
Other than look awesome in that cowboy hat. Everyone has
At our adult prom, it was disco themed.
Oh, I love that.
I traded a pair of disco ball earrings for it.
Yes.
This is because for the teams to return to their bench before I give you an update so that they don't hear it from you before they hear it from our HR. Okay, so they will not retain their official review. They were looking for a cut on elevated jammer. The skater was determined to not have position. Well, we weren't sure if the skater had position.
All right, it looks like Boise was looking for a track cut call on the elevated jammer. However, the skater they thought was cut did not actually have position, so review is not retained.
Talons and Spice taking lead jammer for Boise after the start. Four points to Boise, bringing them to 195, elevated 107.
Cupcake Kamikaze with the star for elevated.
Talons and Spice in for Boise.
Cupcake Kamikaze picking up lead jammer status. Elevated Pivot Tsunami taking a seat in the penalty box for, I believe, a forearm call.
Talons and Spice out on that initial.
Cupcake with a nice move on the outside, picking up all 4 points.
Talons was just not able to make it up to the pack in time to grab any points that time.
So close, though. So close.
Elevated now at 111, Boise 195. We're just under 2 minutes left.
One, maybe 2 more jams, depending on how fast they are.
I mean, but look at who we have coming up. We got Fox Patel. That's a very fast jammer.
Southern Hell with the star for elevated. Southern Hell tiptoeing that line on the outside, picking up lead jammer status. However, very quick Fox Fatale right there. Fox Fatale very fast and very good at forcing those call-offs. No points for either team in that jam. And look, it was a very fast jam, so it looks like we'll have one more jam.
We're under 1 minute left, everybody. We're under 1 minute left in our first bout. We got Moose Cannon coming in for Boise.
Paris Kilton with the star for elevated in what will likely be our final jam of the first game.
Moose Cannon out of the pack early on initial.
Paris Kilton out on the initial pass, star in hand.
Moose Cannon pushing through.
Star back on the helmet for Paris, eligible to score here. Looks like that Boise bench is telling Moose Cannon to keep going. Paris threw for 4.
It looks Moose Cannon breaking through, grabbing 4 more, and calls it.
Looked like that Boise bench was waiting for there to be no time left on the period clock before directing the call-off.
We got to wait on the official score before we say anything. We do want to remind our coaches, though, we do need your MVPs for this game.
Yes, please bring your MVP selections to the announcers table, a jammer, blocker, and overall for each team.
Oh, and this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part. Everybody lines the track to get those high fives in. Both teams got to give the warm and fuzzy. All the refs give the warm and fuzzy, and then we get that official score.
It looks like that is our final score. Boise takes the win, 203, Elevated 115.
Let's give it up for Boise. Great job, but also Elevated. Elevated had some great blocks during that entire bout. I love to watch the team work together to create those walls.
Yeah, we saw a lot of hard hits, tough walls, fast jammers.
So congratulations to Boise and Elevated for putting up such a great game this entire time. We will be doing MVPs here in a little bit. And like we said, at noon, we have our next game. That is just an hour and 12 minutes away. For those of you who came here in person, we hope you go check out all those amazing vendors, that you check out our food tables. For those of you that are online watching through Twitch, we hope that you enjoyed today's first game.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. I just want to make sure it lines up.
So stream is going to be right here. It's going to be kind of a tight fit, so you know.
I don't suppose we just have another Treasure Valley sheet. We don't? Okay. Yeah, all right. That would have been easy. All right, so I have to delete everything below jam.
Is it really scary? I'm like sweating. I'm
So,
worried I'm
all
gonna
right.
fuck up.
Okay, here we go.
Once we like turn, we can change.
It's a good thing I got more erasers in my car.
That makes me feel less nervous.
All right, we do have our MVPs for game one. We have something from the tournament, but we don't have it at the announcer table yet. So if your name is called, you'll have to come see us a little bit later. MVPs for Elevated MVP jammer, Ms. Fortune. MVP blocker is Tsunami. And our overall MVP for Elevated is Evelyn Dead.
And our MVPs for Boise, we have MVP jammer Fox Fatale. Our MVP blocker is Smack Sabbath. And MVP overall, Mia Wallops. Congratulations to both teams' MVPs. Like we said, there will be MVP gifts up here at the announcer table. As soon as they are brought back in, we'll let you know. But congratulations to both teams. Really hard fought game. Just an awesome job all around.
Absolutely. What a great way to start off day one of our 2-day tournament.
And now, time to get ready and reset for game 2.
That will be the Boise All-Stars versus the FOCO Micro Bruisers from Fort Collins.
All right, well, we will see you back here later. I am Secret Squirrel.
And I am Kels Inferno, and it's been a pleasure announcing for you all for this first game of the day.